Hi, I'm Tansel, four-time Australian memory champion, international best-selling author, and your memory coach. And today we're going to look at what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. So let's get started. When working with me, what I try and do is I have meetings with individuals. And in those meetings, what I do is I work on not just your memory, but how to train your memory. So there's two components. What we want to be able to do is not just, train our memory to be a lot better, but we want to be able to implement those skills. Most people come just for the skill implementation, right? They just want to learn to be a lot better, but you need to train that ability as well. So I guess this video is more about making you aware that there needs to be two separate components to learning about memory. One, the implementation, two, the training. So let's talk about them. Implementation, right? If you're wanting to remember a speech, you've got a speech coming up, right? I could show you the technique, right? And there's a whole bunch of techniques on my YouTube channel already, right? You can learn the technique, but you still have to do it in a way where you're remembering your talk and you're remembering it in a way where is connecting to your brain really quickly. Why? Because you want to be able to connect with the audience a lot better and you want to communicate your message in the best possible way because what you want is instant impact, right? That's not going to come by you thinking about your talk all the time. That's just wasting too much time, right? What you want to be able to do is, okay, I've got it and deliver it perfectly. And not only that, you're not even worried about your delivery now. If you've remembered your content, you're not worried about delivery, you're worried about the impact, right? So to get there though, you need to train your memory. And memory training, you can have so many different exercises. Think of it like you're going to the gym and you're not just doing one equipment, right? You're not just running on a treadmill, although, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You still get fit. But if you're doing sort of weights or heavy gym work, right, in weight room, then you've got a whole bunch of machinery and stuff. So think of it that way. Think of it like you're working different muscle areas, right? And the more and more you do it, regularly, consistently, then you start seeing results. So think of memory training that way. And if you're mentally fit, right, and if you train, you got it to a certain level, guess what happens? When you learn that thing now, you get a lot better, a lot faster. And that's how I learned personally. When I got into memory, what happened was I read probably half a book and that was it. The rest was all training, train, and play games. Now, why was that? The reason is that learning is quite challenging, right? Even though there's people out there that love learning, really no one likes a bit of stress, right? Even exercise has stress, but we know that stress is good because look at the end result, right? If you keep going through that stress. Same thing with learning as well, but with learning, you're really fighting against the willpower as well. And that's a game. Like I don't want to go against willpower. It's really hard. Yeah, you can do it, but I'd rather have something a lot simpler than just fighting with willpower. So if your learning is stressful, that releases a chemical called cortisol in your brain. And what that does is that's a stress chemical, right? So you get stressed. So learning after a certain point becomes stressful. People tend to drop off at a certain point in time or they just leave it. So what you want to be able to do, and this is why memory training is so important, is you want to be able to play games instead, right? I've done that. You want to be able to play games instead with your memory. And because you're playing games, guess what's released in your brain? The neurotransmitter dopamine. And if dopamine is increased, you always want to go back and train. You always want to go back and improve your memory. Like, how cool does that sound? Instead of learning something, play the game, right? So that's how I started. I just kept playing. I was memorizing cards, I was memorizing numbers, but these were all gamified, right? And because they were gamified, I'm always trying to beat my score. I always went back to it because once I'd beaten my score, it was like the greatest feeling ever. But I knew I can go better, so I just kept going, and only then I could learn a lot better and do all the things that I wanted. You can still do the implementation, like learn the skills and go and do what you want. But I guarantee it's still going to be a real struggle. Like if you go into my channel and watch all my speed reading videos, that's just a skill. That's just a skill. So anyone can pick up a skill, but it takes a lot of effort and energy to do the skill. And I mean, I went to so many different courses on speed reading when I first started. I could not do it. It just wasn't sitting with me. And it clicked only after training speed reading and working on speed reading for such a long time that I finally got it. And that only happened when I gamified speed reading for myself. Right. I wanted to see how fast I could read. And I was always sort of, I'm at 400 words a minute, then 500 words a minute. Let's see if we can get up to 600. Then I went up to 1,000. And then my best was 2,772 words by reading just a passage online, by the way. So I was using the mouse as my guide with 76% comprehension. So I was higher than the average, 63%. So that was the best I ever did. All right. But it was very easy to read, by the way. So it was about memory as well. But I still got there. So again, to get there, I gamified everything. So that's what we look at: implementation, the skill, but also training your memory and improving that. Because once you improve your memory, once you've trained it to a high level, and then you tackle your practical stuff, nothing beats that. And I guess the question you're going to ask is, well, Tansel, how long does it take you to train your memory? Believe it or not that long. Not that long to have consistent training memory efforts. It's not like if you're overweight and trying to get a six-pack, right? It's not that long, but you still require effort. So anywhere from, and it depends how creative you are, because memory and creativity are linked, right? If you're a creative person, if you've got a good imagination, you're going to get there a lot quicker. If you don't have much of if you don't have much of an imagination, then things are going to take a little bit longer, because it's all about encoding, right? And getting the right image and visual imagery, right? And if you do that, then you're able to connect with that side of the brain a lot better. Now, some people can't even visualize images, right? Then we get into feelings and other areas as well. So we're still utilizing skills that will help you train your brain. So yeah, you can actually get on my website now onto the download section and start training your memory. But again, you have to know what you're doing. So when I work with people, I work on those two areas: implementation of the skill and training. And I guess my goal there is to get you up to a higher level so that when you do tackle stuff, it's seamless. Now, not everything's going to be seamless, of course, but it'll be so much easier than before. And because it's gamified, right, you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to do it. I mean, I've got a client now that absolutely loves mind mapping, right? Why? Because, he's gamified it and he's implemented it into his work, but it's almost like a game. So he's learning stuff at work, but enjoying it. I mean, who would have thought, right? Making learning fun. So that's what I do. So if you want to work directly with me, right, I do have a spot available at the moment. Get onto my website, click on apply. I'll put the link down below in the comments section, and also description on how you can apply to work with me one-on-one to absolutely master your memory and your learning capability. Because if you can do that, imagine what you're able to do in terms of efficiency and effectiveness, and not just at work, but your daily life as well. And if you're really struggling with memory, my goodness, this is going to help you. It's going to be out of this world. And what do I know? Well, I've been doing this for 22 years with hundreds of people over the years, and literally thousands across the world when I speak to them. So get on board. If you're interested, message me. Get onto my socials. I use my socials as well, like Instagram, LinkedIn. I use quite a lot. YouTube messages, I rarely see them, to be honest. So yeah, don't message me on YouTube. Message me on those channels: Instagram, LinkedIn. Through my website is probably the best. I check my emails, and let's have a chat, because there's nothing wrong with just having a chat about memory, because you could be well on your way to already being a memory master, or you might need that little nudge. And if you need help, I'm here. So let me know and we'll talk further. So see you in the next video. Cheers.